You're listening to White Noise with your host, Drip, 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 Drip.
Oh yeah, that worked a lot easier than I thought it would. Drip.
I knew it would. No, I knew it would. I just
My fault.
But we are back. White Noise, episode 5, with an official intro. Shout outs to Sham, Lord Vader, Anakin Invader, and Misuku, the one and only, the tribal princess of Black Announce Table, for providing the beat and the vocals for the intro. Khal, we initially had a different idea for today's episode, but the tragic passing of Ray Liotta on Wednesday caused us. No, Thursday, right? It was Thursday.
It was. I believe it was Thursday.
Yeah, because it was before it was recording day, so it caused us to change the original idea to pay tribute to the late great Ray Liotta. In particular, his performance in one of my favorite movies, one of your favorite movies, a movie that we've kind of bonded over since we've known each other, and that's GoodFellas. Before we get started on that, is there anything else that you want to shout him out for? Any other movie, TV show, or video game? Again, he was in Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
I was going to say, yeah, I think my internet's going crazy, pardon me, but Vice City, I think that's very iconic only because there's a lot of people who do video games now, but I don't think that at the time there weren't so many people from Hollywood who were like, yeah, I'm going to portray this character for this entire game or whatever. Just him taking on that role and being like an accomplished actor and making that more than just a person on the screen. I don't know. I always thought that was dope. But he's always been, anything he's in, he's good in it, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, one other movie that I kind of can remember him is this. I've only saw it once, but I guess it would be like a bad movie. Is Unlawful Entry with Kurt Russell and Madeline Stowe, where he's the cop that protects him at first, but then he becomes like obsessed with them. A typical like '90s thriller.
I think it's 30 years old.
Yeah, I would say so. It seems like it's early '90s.
I think it was 92.
And I mean, oh no, he played Ray Liotta in the Bee movie. That was kind of a clever like thing where he was it was like Ray Liotta Honey is what Jerry Seinfeld's character Barry the Bee had an issue with. But I mean, like I said, famously Vice City, which I remember my father playing when I was growing up. Yeah. I get like kind of hearing it. I would come into the other room and see that he was playing it. But I guess I can really remember hearing his voice because, again, shouts out to Big Mike, is that he would play KMBR, the sports leader, sports radio, and the Razor Mr. T, which was this show, had the intro of there was me and there was, Nikki Eyes, and then it'd be like, it would do that monologue, but then it'd be like, and they would cut in like the Razor and Mr. T and go get the papers, they splice the two together for their interests. Like I would hear his voice without even knowing who he was or before seeing the movie.
Iconic.
Yeah.
Well, GoodFellas came out in 1990, so I probably would have been like 8.
I was about to say you were 8 or 9. I wasn't
8 or 9.
But when did you see it first? Did you see it that like early, a little bit later?
Gosh, when it wasn't that it was around the time it was on HBO at least, because it was on like the one cable channel we had at home was HBO. So if something was on HBO, I saw it all the time. And it's not like my mom. The only reason I saw GoodFellas is because my mom was into it. But my mom would like, all right, this is a little too much. Turn your head or go in the other room. Or like there were parts I didn't see of that movie for a while. But
I think every person's kind of experienced things like, my mom would famously be like, cover your eyes or fast forward.
Cover your eyes. But I think the thing is it's stuck with me, because like the mafioso type, gangster stuff was always intriguing. But it's also like one of the first films where I was just like, God damn, like I've watched movies before, but cinema is amazing. Like, you've got the music blaring at the perfect time. You've got, these the beginning of the film. Hold up. The beginning of the film where It's so ill. How you start a film? They drive in a car. You hear a bumping
Boom.
in the back
Like,
of the car.
hey, Jimmy, you hear that? What is
there?
that? Then they pull over and then, oh fuck, he's still alive, and like he shanks him, and then they shoot him. And so the first time I saw this movie, this is how my mind still works. Like I can remember details vividly.
Yeah.
I broke my arm at school playing basketball. It was kind of rainy that day. We were playing basketball outside. I went up with another guy, got a rebound, and I came down, slipped, and my arm went.
Gotcha.
I instantly kind of woke up in like a Saving Private Ryan thing, and I could like feel like my arm was broken. So I picked it up. I went to like the yard duty. I'm in middle school. This might have been 7th grade.
Damn.
And I'm like, I'm waiting for my mom. They didn't call the ambulance to come and get me. They did for a kid that broke his arm like a week or 2 before.
Okay.
Funny enough, but my mom and grandma had to come get me. Then my dad showed up.
They said, fuck Trip.
Yeah, and I was waiting. It was a whole day. And I believe the next day, because I was going to be at home for a few days on a hard cast, and my dad rented GoodFellas. He's like, here, you should watch this movie. And I watched it like consecutively while I was home with my broken arm. And again, I had never experienced anything like it. Like you said, like the way it opens, the music, again, like cinema, what's that? Like, this is a time where like, I maybe was just starting to get into movies as they were. I'm 13, about to be 14.
Mm-hmm.
I love watching movies, but I don't understand like the concept of like you can have this song going and the Oneer into the Copacabana, and then he Kiss Me plays, and like you just feel like all this magic again. What this man fights for when he talks shit about Marvel movies, Martin Scorsese, that is his cinema, and the quotes. I mean, the performances, and I think the thing that's been kind of not unsung but forgotten maybe is he's actually probably the best role in this film is Ray Liotta in hindsight.
No, facts. It's funny because again, in literally watching it before we started recording.
I watched an hour last night, and before I saw Top Gun Maverick, which is amazing.
I have to rewatch Top Gun to want to watch that.
You know what? I'm going to be talking about it on Banks vs. Davis, but it's basically in an homage and also a sequel. It's like 21 Jump Street.
Mm-hmm.
Like how they play off the original that inspired it, but it's also like this is because there are a lot of hints and stuff like that. But like
it's very much like its own.
I was watching probably like 45 minutes more before we started recording, and I rewatched those podcasts on the Ringer, Bill Simmons podcast. Him, Sean Finney, and Chris Ryan, they did GoodFellas last summer, kind of around the same time. I remember it came out right around as we were doing the BRP 50,
right?
And they were kind of saying like again similar to this, like this guy is actually probably the best performance in the film, and Pesci's good, and he deserved that Oscar because that's the ultimate scene-stealing performance. Ray Liotta wasn't nominated, unfortunately, but and De Niro is just as great, and Lorraine Bracco is great, and the whole cast. But like, he narrates the film, and it's probably one of the best narrations in the history of movies. Like,
it's
pause.
The stuff when they're you mentioned walking through and like interview or introducing people. What he say? There was Jimmy 2 times because he always said stuff like
everything 2 times. There was Mo Black's brother, Fat Andy, and they have their like comments back like, "Hey, how you doing, guy?" Like, "Hey,
yeah. What you doing over there? I'm gonna take care of that thing later on." Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing where like he opens up like as far back as I can remember. I always wanted to be a gangster. It's like,
iconic. That right there, that line in itself is iconic.
And that's where it's like when the movie credits, like, then it goes. And they say like, you know, it goes from rags to riches, and he narrates his like whole childhood. And again, it's like I'm an Irish Italian kid growing up.
Fuck, it's have you ever read the book?
No, I have not read Wise Guy by Nick Pileggi. No.
I remember. I don't remember if I read the book first or if I watched. My mom had the book, and my mom was all right. If you know anything about me and my mom and watching movies, my mom's a big Robert De Niro fan. Like, in a different time, my mom probably would have been vying for Robert De Niro's affection, and maybe they would have won.
I think that's his type.
She very well could have been a woman in his life at some point, but she's also a woman that gets very attached to the character. So like if she doesn't like you, like with the character you're playing, she's not going to like you in anything
in real life
because she's going to remember what happened in that film.
I have that with Saoirse Ronan because I saw her in Atonement, and she's like a 10-year-old girl at that point, and she like sends James McAvoy to jail, and then like all these years later, I'm like, you fucking bitch.
Atonement. That's funny. That's funny because that feels like it was so long ago too.
It was. But I saw it like probably 6 years ago, and I saw the resentment. Like anything her and that she's in now, I'm just like, fucking.
And now, anytime you see it, that's crazy. No, but it's my mom was really into the film, and I don't know. I should ask mom. I don't know if she ever read the book, but the book was in the house, and I always read. So at one point in life, I may have been like 11, 12 at this point. I read the book, and I mean the book. The movie's not like a clear 1-to-1, but there a lot of that book is in the film.
Again, Henry Hill was a real person.
Yeah, but this is, I mean, this was like the dude that was, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Nicholas Pileggi the guy who brought him to jail or whatever?
No. There was an actual FBI agent. No, Nick Pileggi. He's just like a regular writer.
He's a reporter.
No. The thing was,
he was
married. He was married to Nora Ephron, who knew Henry Hill. And she wrote, because I was listening to this rewatchables. I mean, not to shout out other podcasts, but I recommend you check that out.
Yeah, I really want to.
Because Nora Ephron wrote My Blue Heaven, a movie my mom made me watch, in which Steve Martin plays a wise guy who's sent to like San Diego or whatever to live on witness protection, and that's basically Henry Hill.
I think it's literally. I think it's pretty much is the story. Yeah.
Post GoodFellas again, because the movie ends with him like, I'm just a regular Joe. I can't even get spaghetti with sauce or whatever.
This is how GoodFellas ends, and I think My Blue Heaven's essentially like after this. Yep. So, I've being a kid that didn't have a lot of friends, I would watch TV a lot, and the movie channel, as it was called, in between the films, they may have like 7 minutes or 8 minutes in between films, sometimes 10, and they would just run mini commercials. And I probably saw the commercial for My Blue Heaven playing soon on the movie channel 15 gajillion times.
No, my mom had VHS tapes of movies that she taped off of like HBO or whatever, and I know we talked about it. It'd be like because the one tape I remember vividly was The Princess Bride, Willow, and the original Parent Trap.
Yeah,
and it'd be like you could see like they were taping the commercials that were
hard tape.
She had a few tapes like that.
It's a hard tape.
She didn't have GoodFellas on it, but like I don't think she was much. She liked it, but I think she maybe liked Casino more. Again, I got a VHS tape of that secondhand, and that was a 2 VHS tape because
GoodFellas was a movie. GoodFellas was a 2. I think when I first got the DVD for GoodFellas, it was a double-sided DVD. It was half on one side. You flip it, and it would play the
Bill
rest
Simmons
of the
talks
film.
about that. The first run of DVDs for movies that were over like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, you'd have to flip it over.
Yeah, it's crazy how that, because
technology.
Well, because the thing, because it's not even like it's a different format. Like at a certain point, they just found out how to go from half of a movie on a disc to a whole movie plus like a featurette and 2 trailers and like motion graphics in the menu. Like it's just it's obviously people get smarter and know how to stretch the fucking memory. It's the same thing with like a Nintendo game. This literally, but like if you look at how like they if you get it's so nerdy, but if you get into the science of how like video game developers would stretch out the little bit of, because we're talking like 32 megabytes, maybe 16 megabytes of space on a fucking cartridge, and the tricks they would like you could only have so many things going on a screen at a time because of the limit. I don't know. It's always fascinating, and the fact that it went from 2 VHS tapes to a double-sided DVD to now it's like a file. It's
just a file that's you press play, and sometimes it might have to buffer. Like,
do you know that's how movie theaters are now? We're so off base, but that's how I took my wife to the theater to see Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
It's good. I recommend it.
I've heard it's great. Yeah.
Do recommend it. Recommend it. It's a good theater film too. I think it's going to be hitting home released fairly soon. But it's a good movie to watch at the theater. But they fucked up. Like, shouts out to the guy in our screening who had seen the movie the other day. He's like, yeah, this is clearly like not supposed. It was like some red thing. It was like a red. It was legit like this over the screen. And I like the movie is so like I know
swipe the filter.
Yeah, but it's like I know the movie's bugged, so I'm like, is it supposed to be like this? I don't know. We're gonna roll with it.
Yeah.
So the guy left. He leaves the theater, and he's like, yeah, this isn't right. We're gonna check it out. He comes back in, and they skip like 15 minutes ahead into the film. No more red filter, but now it's the film. We're like, what the fuck? So like a couple of us like periodically run the fuck out, and I say this all to say they stopped the film, right? They stopped the film.
Right now, you're showing why we should get rid of movie theaters. I'm just going to say that real quick.
But check this out. They stopped the film, and it said something about like Amazon AWS server, something like that. So literally, you're paying, and I love the movie theater experience. I love a good IMAX, a good Dolby, or whatever. But when you get down to it, it's literally a projector hooked up to like a computer that may even be dialed into like I don't know if they're running the files directly off of whatever's in the projector room or if it's like a server. But somewhere there's just like a fucking Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness .mp4 sitting on somebody's hard drive.
They can get leaked.
That's exact. But it's. If I had like the movie showing equipment, like if I had a dope, like I could do that. I could have way more variety than what's going on at your Cinemax now. But I'm kind of pissed because GoodFellas is a film I never saw in a theater, and I would love to see this in a cinema.
Yeah, I've never gone to the theater to see an old movie.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fun.
It's always been new movies. I've never done like, they're re-showing Jaws in the theater or like they're re-showing, Star Wars. I've never done that because I think part of me would be like I've seen it before. I know it's the big screen, but like the experience again, like, there were some people talking right before Top Gun was playing. Luckily, I chose the super screen, so like the sound's a little bit better. And again, that's when we were like when the jets are on, they're on.
Right. I don't know, man. I
think the only experience I can have like that is when I saw Black Panther the second time with Major Payne. It was the dub was off. Like you hear Sterling K. Brown's narration as like he's telling the story and the animation of Wakanda's going on, but it's off key. I saw that Thursday night screening and this was Saturday. I'm like, oh, this isn't right. Like, and then someone they restarted it though. They restarted it. It was like again just the first 2 minutes, and then they went back and restarted the movie. But luckily, like again, I don't know if if they had an actual projector of that or like the actual film release
probably
4 years ago.
I mean,
again, sometimes we've seen where like movies will like it happens to us when we're recording. We're frozen for a minute. You can hear us talking, and then it'll buffer up to us catching up.
But this is like that. It's one thing to be like kind of like sewing together a live stream between all of these different like there's at points during the episode it's like 5 people beaming from different parts of the country, different Wi-Fi's and everything. You would at least hope that there would be a little bit more stability, but I think the more stability you give a theater with a movie, just like with the way music used to be pirated from like Target and whatnot, it makes it that much easier to take someone and say, oh, this file's right here. Let me drag that to my USB and put that in my pocket and become a internet sensation, when I get off my shift or whatever. But I would love to see. I'd love to see that scene, the way the body sounded when they stabbed bats.
Yeah,
they said people were horrified.
Oh yeah, it's
screening.
Like, whoa. Yeah, I mean, again, it starts off violent, then it goes to like his origins. Again, he gets abused as a kid, but he's also like living this life that seems fun, like the mobsters. love him. He's like their errand boy, and then he gets intoxicated with it. And the guy who plays young Henry kind of looks like he could be young Ray Liotta. It's one of those great castings. But then when it fast forwards to Ray Liotta, and he's probably perfect as this character because he's sleazy, he's charming, he's powerful, but he's also scared. Like he plays all the range again. Like he's not afraid to walk down the street with a gun and just a guy's face and be like, if you touch her again, I saw my mother, you're fucking dead. And then also be like terrified when she's pointing the gun at him. Like, calm down. Like, I love you. And then he's like, well, I gotta worry about this on the street. Like,
wait, did you
come home to this?
That's actually a really that scene when I see. All right, just because I've watched that movie so long over the years.
Just name again. Like he has a lot of the quotes. Is the thing as well. Like,
but that's
a funny guy.
The scene with her with the gun sitting over him.
My nightmare.
But it was one of my favorite scenes, like when I first started watching the film. Like it felt like it always built to that. Yeah. And I never even now I would say, and I tweeted it. Now it's probably that entire it's the sequence of the day he gets picked up for all the coke and shit. Like him looking up with the fucking him driving and
Ray Drip. He's got all his chains and. I mean, he's low-key an inspiration for me in a way. The sunglasses, the chains, the rings, the bracelets. I mean, the whole time he's just like, he's great in that scene again. Like he's like, oh, I'm this cool guy, and then she comes up with Tommy in the car, and he's like terrified, but then he's intoxicated by her. And I mean, she in that scene looks, but like he says, like she had eyes like Liz Taylor, and he wasn't into her during the date at all. Like he's like in like, what do you mean? What do you mean, Tom? Like, what? Can I just fucking ask you to help me? He's like, no. See, I knew. You knew. What did you know? Like the whole time, he's like rushing, and it cuts from him and her walking out of the restaurant, him and her walking up the driveway, and then when she shows up, and he's like, oh, she's got some like fire. Like, okay, I'm into this now. Like,
he
has like this reptilian Joker grin. Like when it cuts to him right at the door, and his cross is showing. And then,
the good half.
Just the good half.
The good half. It's funny. No, but yeah, in rewatching it, it's it was funny you mentioned it. I never thought about how interesting the beginning of the Ray and in the book, because the book is mostly from the POV of
his perspective.
Henry Hill, but
and he narrates it. He then talks to the camera at the end.
But
it's like what's going on and what's going to happen.
Like literally, like what he say? You ask for spaghetti and meatballs, you get noodles and ketchup or whatever.
When he's on trial, it's like this.
That shit was
the end of it. This is the end of this. Like, and he's like, I never paid taxes. I never had anything in writing. Like I was like, he lived off the grid. Like he was a ghost in a way. Like these guys.
So Wild West.
He's like, I paid everything in cash. Like if I could get a car, I could just go and get one. Like, if I had stash houses all over.
Drip. His wife said, I want to go shopping. He said, how much you need? She said.
She said. And then she gets down. She goes down. He's like, okay, like
do what you gotta do. I mean,
like,
hey,
all right. What's the George Jetson when he's like, she gets some money, he gets some money, and then she takes the rest of the money.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Damn. What a fuck. There's I think I forget the name of the brand. I want to say it was in after that. Don't hold me to that though. But they I get everybody loves this blue, red, whatever.
They don't make it anymore. But I followed this guy Jake Wolf who writes for GQ.
He probably got it. Hold up, let me.
No. He said he found someone who makes them now.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like
that's what I'm saying.
It's like $300. I'm like $300. Like
I think I'm pretty sure it was And after that on Instagram they posted because they remade the shirt. It was fairly recently.
I saw it like 2 weeks ago, which is the crazy thing. Yeah, because I'm like, damn, like low key, I'd want Henry's that shirt, and then it's the long sleeve black shirt that he wears when they're outside the airport. Sleeve one,
yeah. But it's so dope that again, because I grew up remembering scenes like this and how smug Henry was, and that and being able to see somebody like detail that shit. It's
well, he's like the prince that was promised in a way. Like but again, he's Irish, so he can't be made.
That's the other weird thing, yeah.
Yeah. but they like when he pulls off the airport heist, not the Latanza one, the one like where actually like they go in, grab the briefcase, and Polly's like, "That's a lot of money for a kid like you," and he does like the slap, and you can tell like Ray Liotta is like bracing for the slap, like he's like, and then like he's still like, and there's a scene when he's like, "I don't want you touching those drugs," and then he like Polly slaps him again, and he's like, "I don't want anyone messing with drugs," and Ray Liotta like sells that again, like he's terrified of this guy in particular out of everyone else, like this looming figure who's Darth Vader in their world.
Did you know? Because actually, you mentioned Ray bracing for the hit. Did you know that Ray Liotta's mother passed while
they
he was
say that on the rewatchables that why he probably seems like he's out of it in the scenes that he's supposed to be. It's because his mother had tragically like passed away during the filming of like, and so like in the scenes where it looks like this man's gone, it may be like real life influence. Besides, again, he's a tremendous actor, but
I'm actually because there's a piece that I remember editing. Yeah, a piece I edited at Complex about I believe it was 20 GoodFellas facts. Ray Liotta's mother passed. She passed away due to breast cancer during production of the film. And if I'm not mistaken, the scene where Karen tells Henry that the guy across the street like got a little handsy, got a little rough with me, trying to do more than what I wanted.
Yeah, that scene he might have got a little too rough with the guy.
They said he legit hit him on one of the takes, and mind you, he was hitting him with it was
the prop gun, yeah.
It was a prop gun, but I mean, like he's whacking him across the nose with that shit. And I think he may have legit like fucked it because in the film. Again, rewatching it, he's just sitting there like shit, fuck. Like as Henry's whacking
his friends are like, holy shit, like this happening. Like
the guy's like, don't shoot.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is like that's probably some with Scorsese and pistol whipping, because the second best pistol whipping scene, in my opinion, is The Departed. When they're on the rooftop and Matt Damon's talking shit like, only run off us is a cop here, Bill, and then Leonardo DiCaprio's like, shut the fuck up, and like pistol whips him 3 times, and I'm just like, kick his ass, because I hate Matt Damon, and Leonardo DiCaprio just like, shut the fuck.
Jeez,
and like Matt Damon's just like bleeding, and so Scorsese's like, I don't want people just to shoot the guy, I want them just to beat each other with a gun, like just
fuck him up. I mean, the scene
like Brian Danielson just stomping on him. Like, just like.
I was going to say, go back and watch the bat scene. You've got when because Tommy's fucking beating him in the face with the gun, but when he's on the ground and Robert De Niro, he's putting the shoe to his face. He's just like he's stomping on him, but then he's like kind of like dragging his foot across.
Fast forward almost 30 years later, he does that in The Irishman, and it's the worst thing you've ever seen.
Well, yeah, that they CGI'd the fuck out of that, but also fast forward to the end of The Sopranos, and shouts to Frank Vincent. Damn, I can't. You ain't even.
Well, Frank Vincent gets his revenge in Casino when they beat the shit out of Joe Pesci and his brother with the bats in the middle of the field. Remember?
Another great narration moment. He literally mid sentence.
And it's their aluminum bat, so you're ting ting, and it's just like
they ping the fuck off. But also, I mean, that movie also has the fucking the eye with the vice grip and the eye.
Hey, Anthony, got your head in a vice. Charlie M. You motherfucking piece! You make me squash your fucking eye out for that piece of shit.
Fucking eye squished out.
I don't know. I had seen GoodFellas first and then Casino after, so I was already and I think I'd seen The Departed in between. So Scorsese in my mind's like, wow, this guy is amazing. Again, these are 3 like monster gangster films, and then Raging Bull probably in there as well.
Yeah, I mean, Taxi Driver. I mean, like
not too much. I didn't say that too much later.
Oh, okay. Taxi Driver's hard. But like, I think overall, Scorsese's just goated. Even like I don't get too much into like some of his lesser like worse shit, but he definitely is.
Wolf of Wall Street.
like again, he stays with heat on deck. It's just anything he's attached to, you have to.
And basically, that's DiCaprio gives. I mean, probably his second best performance, I think, because his first. It's him as Rick Dalton and him with Tarantino, both Django and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think Tarantino got the best out of him because he plays charm. Again, it's terrible to say that he's charming as Khal and Candy, but he is.
No, facts.
But then him as Rick Dalton, when he does the whole like, you're a drunk piece of shit, 8 whiskey sour, 8 goddamn like he's so vulnerable and like insecure about himself as an actor. But he does this in Wolf of Wall Street. He does Henry Hill as Wolf of Wall Street. Like Jordan Belfort is narrating his life and his experience. Again, I think the same thing in Casino. Like I don't think De Niro can capture what Ray Liotta did, where like his narration over the entire story works as well because that's actual events that the people are changed. The names are changed in Casino.
Names are changed. Yeah, some
Wolf of Wall Street and GoodFellas have much more in common, being like Jordan Belfort and Henry Hill were real people.
Right.
And we know how their story ends because they were still alive at the time of their making. But Ray Liotta is able to narrate it so well. And I mean, to say that, I mean, again, it's like the Oscars. You joined Banks and I a few weeks ago to talk about how the Oscars kind of always get it wrong. But I think they forget like this guy gives one of the best performances, and he's also kind of narrating the whole film. And you're not like bothered by the narration. It's one of the best aspects of it. Again, where he's like, one day all the kids in the neighborhood carried my mom's groceries home. You know why? It was out of respect. And as like an explosion is paused,
and he's just he's right. One day, yeah, no, that's hard.
And but him acting in the shower when he hears
Jimmy,
hey, you son of a bitch, and it cuts like 3 different versions. Like it's Ariel, and it's
they're not the best. The last thing I'd want to be doing, like the day that like the news is happening, I wouldn't want people like, yeah, I that Henry Hill guy, yeah, that Tuesday morning he was screaming. I don't know what was going on, but I heard somebody screaming in the morning. Or the other thing is go back and watch the scene where they kill Samuel L. Jackson. Mind you, Joe Pesci touches nothing. I don't think he even touched the door to enter in there. He walked in, he pulled out.
Frankie's the idiot who grabs a coffee pot like.
He grabs the coffee pot. He's grabbing like nobody wipes anything down. I'm like, y'all of course y'all got caught.
They're doing a whole back and forth like Fam and Matt outside the bamboo lounge as it's going on. Like you see this shit? Like what you blaming me? Like,
that part was good. That part was that was when he was trying to get Henry. Yeah. What
can you believe this prejudice against Italians? Can you believe it?
Ray Liotta, the scenes in the jail.
He's got that sick Adidas tracksuit on with the sambas.
With the fucking, he's got a whole thing of pills in his pocket.
He inspired Future.
He would it's funny to see like those I mean they had whole lobsters getting delivered to these.
His narration of that, like he would slice it razor. Then I always thought he put too much onions. Hey, watch with the onions. I am watching. And then he continues to put onions. Like it's the thing. What a future white noise. This is one of the few white noises that we'll be doing non-wrestling related. I think kind of every 5th episode will be a non-wrestling white noise, and this is one of them. But future one I have planned is Matthew Vaughn versus Guy Ritchie in a director's showdown.
Wow.
Because they both had they were Matthew Vaughn was Guy Ritchie's producing partner, and they kind of broke off on his own. And they don't have like a rivalry or like it's nothing heated between. It's just
it's not beef or anything or nothing. Yeah.
If you look at it's Spider-Man meme a lot of the time, subtly. But Guy Ritchie will show you while he's also telling you in the narration and like it's speeding up. It's that way of like it's a montage with the narration over it, or like this is about to happen and it doesn't end up happening type of like the heist movie deal. But like Guy Ritchie does that like every single time.
Yeah, I love
and that's what this narration kind of does. When Henry a lot of time, like he narrates walking into the bar and like these are the guys that we hung out with, and then it picks up a little bit later when they buy the bamboo lounge, and he's like, "What do? You buy it, you burn it down, like you cut your losses." And the guy's like, "Fucking shit, it's a fucking shame."
Yeah. No, he's great. His little, but that was the thing. It's like if you watch Henry, actually, if you watch like interviews with the real Henry Hill, he's way more animated. But like he was very quick with.
I think Ray was pretty animated in this movie. Though.
Well, I mean, but he was also like the fucking raging cokehead. Like he was really going ham. Look at him. He was the shirts. There's a couple times where they had these shirts with the collars.
That always stuck with me.
Those collars are ill. I could not pull off a collar that left.
We're doing that.
Face.
Mania in LA next year. We're showing up dressing like GoodFellas, the four of us.
Actually, well, Drip, that's the thing. I was
actually no. Since it's LA, we'd have to be Reservoir Dogs.
Well, because on sidebar on the Black Rasslin podcast, youtube.com/Black Rasslin. You already know that though. We have like theme nights every now and again, but I was wondering because like one of the biggest like we're gonna be hit like what are we gonna do for 1,000 subscribers? Like that's a really big milestone.
Are we gonna do Mafia dress up? Like, am I gonna put cotton balls in my mouth? Show khal.
Dress up as your favorite Mafia character.
Again, I'm doing the Adidas tracksuit, looking like I haven't slept for 3 days because I'm taking all these pills. Like,
see, I got a beard, so it's because they are clean shaven. I would love to be like a Tony Soprano, though.
You can do the robe in the undershirt.
The robe and the A shirt, eating fucking gabagool during the episode, and
the best. And it's funny, like he doesn't shine the most in what's probably the best scene of the movie, which is the scene with the mom, with Scorsese's mother, because he's in shock the whole time, like what they just did. Like everyone says, like he's contemplating, like, oh fuck, we just like killed a made man, like we're fucked. So he like when the mom's like, you never talk, but she's like, oh yeah, you like. And they have everyone else has a great back and forth, but then when De Niro's like kind of looks like someone we know, he doesn't know.
but like that scene was also improv, from what I understand.
I know, but again, he doesn't really steal a part. Like he kind of does in almost every other scene while competing with De Niro, Pesci.
He plays the background. He's, but I think that's the key.
And the mom yells, "Where were you? You were out all night. You don't call. You don't tell Springer." And then he's just like. Oh, he's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like, this is the last thing I need to hear. Is like, and then he
was good at the random looks. I mean, like it's just and in the film, and again, watching it, I feel like I watch GoodFellas every now and again, but
every year I put it on because you just put it on in the background and know what's going on. It's comfort.
That's what my homie said. They say, yeah, just put it on the background at least. And I'm like, I can, but at some point, I'm just gonna sit there.
Well, then you start watching, but again, I'll watch like I did last night. Like, I'm watching the first hour, and Scorsese's getting shots, the Copacabana, seeing the whole thing. Like I did never until I really knew what oneers were, and like when you find out, then like again, Ryan Coogler does it phenomenally to this day. Alejandro Inarritu did it with Birdman, the whole film.
Yeah, no. Well again,
people have been doing it for action scenes and Extraction. There was a great one on the Chris Hemsworth movie that came out a couple years ago on Netflix. There was a great one-hour sequence when he's in this car chase. But that scene again, they have the song playing, and she's like, he's showing her like what's going on, and then she's like, "So what do you do?" And he plays it perfect, like, "I'm a construction." She's like, I don't think so. He's like, "I'm a union delegate." Like he's so charming, but he's like a con man at the same time. Right. He's like, and she's not like. So I'm like, no. So what do you do? Like she's into it.
It's for 1990. Like think about how much cinema had come out before GoodFellas, and it's not like there weren't other dope films that came out that time. It's not like there have been other dope films about the mob before and after GoodFellas. But I think the thing is. It's one of those rare things where it came out immediately, people understood it, and it got like certified. Like the hype was very warranted. Yeah. And I think over time, it's continued to like, again, you mentioned a number of films that in some way, shape, or form, GoodFellas' father. You know what I mean?
Boogie Nights is an obvious.
Hell,
GoodFellas homage.
the needle, the way Martin Scorsese worked with dropping music and everything into the shit.
Tarantino and all his films. Yep.
Tarantino, Breaking Bad, and like anything Vince Gilligan does, like he's very conscious of the right song and the right feeling for a scene.
Spike Lee is someone who's heavily influenced by Martin Scorsese, and again, they were influenced by the French directors that they watched to understand like all these camera shots and angles and lighting. Well, again, like the red light is iconic, and that's a Scorsese signature. Like these are the taillights of the car, and then he has the lights and the Departed when Jack Nicholson's like wants some coke and he just like throws coke on the ground and like this red light's playing, but it's just like this man's the fucking devil. Like get it? Like it's so obvious.
Trippers always gravitates to the most insane.
To the yayo?
To the yayo specifically, but always the most insane lines. No, I was going to ask earlier, what are some of your favorite moments?
Good. When you can't say the whole movie.
I was going to say in a film, in 2.5 hours of great scenes and lines and iconic everything. But like is there a particular moment that you're like, damn, this is really my shit?
We've already covered a few, like the Copacabana one, or when he pistol whips the guy. I mean, that you're a funny guy. Like he's he's like, oh, we're all friends, and he gets like legit scared. He's like,
funny.
I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. And then when Tommy he goes, you actually are a funny guy, and then he's like, hey, and then he just like
going from making you piss your pants in laughter to making you.
He's a big boy. He can.
But he. The fuck is so fun? What am I, a clown? I'm here to like he went in, like, again. You mentioned earlier he deserved the fuck out of that Oscar. And it's actually
the whole thing. Like you watch the showy performance and forget the sparring partner. You forget it's so and so carried that person in that great match, but also like they kind of held their end. Like as good as Omega is in Omega Okada, it's also Kazuchika Okada. Let's not forget, like Ray Liotta, he might not go on a bit. Not that Joe Pesci did either. I mean, De Niro kind of went to go do
all of them though. Paul Sorvino as Paulie, like the scenes with him and Henry, where you could like looking at the Paulie trying to make sure that Henry's not bullshitting him, and Henry trying his hardest to make sure he doesn't look like he's bullshitting Paulie, know full well that everything he's saying is a fucking lie. Like
because he has like the reptilian snake like skin and hair and like he looks like an animated snake in a way, but like that's how he's able to like charm these women. He charms Karen, he charms Janice.
Wait. So we're in a scene where we're seeing how lavish his Gumars,
his side piece is like living the life.
Janice. She takes like 5 women into the room. It's like, oh, and this is where all the magic happens. Mm-hmm. And then he walks in, he throw her on the bed. They all tongue it down, and they're like, oh, stop, y'all crazy. She on the bed. He gets off the bed, and he got them damn coke eyes at the other girl.
At kind of prime Debbie Mazar, which I completely understand, and her over Janice. That's the, I think we had bonded over GoodFellas because you would post
definitely her over Janice, 100% her.
Yeah, well, I think reason we kind of like started this.
She kept all that coke around though, like when she got busted.
We'll get to that. But I mean, like, no, you had posted Barry Retcher, who's like I think a famous behind the scenes still photographer of movies, and the image of Ray Liotta on Debbie Mazar's shoulder is this like beautiful image of like two people kind of like in their prime on this movie. It's probably like right after that scene in a way. It's one of my favorite images. Like it's kind of like what would be like toxic love in a way, but like so like he looks at her and it's again like and she's falling for him like because she backs up into the door frame like oh shit because he's just locked in. Being like it's this like he just goes around, but then when she's like this is a pig pen. You gotta wash it. So I got you the dishwasher. It's like my nails. I don't want to wash the dishes. And
Jesus. but she was like I think she was legit smitten, but also saw all that fucking money that was lying around.
Yeah.
He wanted the fuck, but I think after a while he realized that she was just really good at mixing coke. So he would fuck so she could fucking work the product.
Yeah. And then they do the first time, but then on the famous day when he gets caught, she's like, "Come on, stay," and he like jets out. He's like, listen, I gotta pick up my brother. I got the meatballs. Like, and he's like doing this and looking at the clock. And
that whole sequence, him pull, and then fucking, because Karen's all coked out too, so she's fucking looking up and everything.
Don't you see that, huh?
Stir the fucking noodles and the babysitter.
I'm stirring the sauce. Tell me I'm stirring the sauce.
And then she goes nuts. She fucking dumps all the coke in the toilet, and he starts wilding out because she dumped all. What the fuck? We ain't got.
Ryan, yeah, Chris Ryan does a great impression on that podcast where he does like, that was all the coke we had, Karen. There was a great. Twitter's amazing sometimes because someone did a montage of like, wow, I can't believe Martin Scorsese uses such a terrible word, and it was a supercut of all of Goodfellas of him saying Karen.
Oh,
because it was the time of like the Karen energy going on. Like, it was just like, I can't believe Martin, like, wow, you just let this man get away with saying this, and it was like Karen, like, it's like, Karen, what are you doing? Like,
Karen, yeah, no, he would hit her hard with the Karen.
No, I mean, he has a great scene where she's like, I gotta go back for what? My hat. Your hat?
Fucking hat.
He's like so pissed. Like, after the day I just had, your fucking hat.
I can't fly without it.
Yeah,
and can't fly without it.
And again, the narration's perfect. When the guy, he's like, if it was a wise guy, I would have been dead. I wouldn't have heard nothing. Of course, cops make all the noise. Like when like the freeze, and then like he's just like, if it had been anyone else, I'd be dead.
That's crazy though. Because he before he killed Samuel L. Jackson, he said, "You were late to your own fucking funeral." Pow!
Yeah.
That's your last thought? Yeah. You hung on that? Just what?
Well, I mean, the last thought is, I mean, if you say go home and get your fucking shine box, you know that's like a death.
Well,
but you know a receipt is coming. Like,
but remember, he said that, and then Tommy dipped. He said, "Keep him here."
But he doubled down, Cal. He was like, he used to shine shoes good, and he's like,
But I'm saying,
then he took the shot and was like, now go home and get you a fucking shot. That's why, I should kill you right now.
You motherfucker.
And you motherfucking.
You motherfucker.
Like, that's really, like, if you say that, you're breaking, they would be like, you know what, we can't send this guy to jail because that's someone that warrants, like,
motherfucker.
Getting one back. Yeah.
The way they would throw cuss words in that film, even Robert De Niro. You fucking shoot the guy? Like,
yeah. Oh, when they shoot Spider, like,
Spider.
What's the fucking matter? You fucking sick? You maniac? What the fuck's your problem?
What the fuck is the world coming to?
That's the thing, like, when he says like "fuck you, Tommy," he's like, oh.
That was fucking.
Henry goes over. It's like he's dead.
Yeah. Again, in that scene though, all this chaos, and mind you, they fucking killers. They probably buried a body a couple hours ago and got some steak or whatever. The look on Henry's face when Tommy actually like fucking killed.
Yeah.
You
realize like, oh yeah, like my best friend's a maniac. Yeah.
My best friend's a fucking psychopath.
Thinking we should have known that when he kills a man, and after they stomp him to death, he's like, I'm sorry, I got blood on your floor. Because again, Ray Liotta looks at him like, that's the least of my worries is the blood on the floor. Like,
sorry, I got blood on your floor. Is good.
Again, and like when they had to go and get the body, and he's throwing up, and he's cleaning the trunk, and his wife's like,
it's a wing.
Yeah, it's like, he's an arm. It's a leg.
It's a wing.
And again, they're laughing about it, Jimmy and Tommy, and he's just like, ugh.
I mean, but that you would have thought that he just became a gangster like 4 days ago. Like,
you think like that's not as far as he's willing to go. Again, like he beats up Janice's boss because like I'm not willing to go over it. Like,
drip.
Like killing someone sends you to jail. Like if you kill a made man, you should expect it. Like he says, like when we heard it, we knew what it was. There was retaliation for bats. Like
no, right, but these two, they were teens when they first met, yeah. And the first time he got pinched, weren't they dangling somebody over the gate at a fucking at the zoo or something like that? Like he got busy.
That's what sends him to jail.
It's just, I'm older now, so I'm kind of like, I'm already, an hour into this film, and I've seen you do a bunch of wild shit. Now I'm supposed to believe that you tripping out because you've been hanging with these killers, but they're cooler with digging up y'all dead bodies than you are. Like, I don't know.
think that's his field. Again, he's like, I'm planning some heist. You know, like I'm selling furs.
He cracked skulls again. He dangled a motherfucker over the line. Like, I mean, it's not
he's
like
not willing to kill someone again. He was like, what's he say right after? It's like they must really do that in Florida because this guy was terrifying.
Yeah.
So again,
That's
he's like, Tommy's here in terms of like how far he's going to go. Like there is no limit. Whereas Henry's like, I'm not gonna fucking kill someone. Like again, no one goes to jail unless they want to. You know why Jeannie Simpson went to jail? To get away from Jeannie, which is one of the best lines. Like, imagine like you're so sick of your wife, you got to go to like take me to jail, which is one of the famous lines he gives after like because a handful of pills. He's like, now take me to jail.
So who's Henry? I mean, again, for your generation and kids that are younger who were like maybe just starting to get into the Sopranos, what's a good Sopranos equivalent for a Henry Hill? Not in terms of being a snitch, but in terms of like his role in the crew. If he's not a killer, who is he? He's a Ralphie. Is he Ralph Cifaretto?
I wouldn't know. I don't really know much of that. I don't think I got that part. But I mean, I think it's in the context of like
he's not a Paulie. Is he a Paulie?
Not to like cross.
He's a goddamn Chris Maltasanti.
Henry Hill. Well, yeah. The only problem was
because Chris the whole time wants this like different life, but like
no, I mean realistically, the only thing that stopped Henry Hill from fully being Chris is that he isn't fully Italian, so he couldn't get made. But I'm not, because he's
getting his nose dirty, everything.
Chris might have put more dirty work because Chris was fucking chopping bodies though.
Oh no, Chrissy got busy. But he kept his nose dirty.
That's interesting. Yeah,
that's why I said that's why he's almost more. I mean, not to like cross, but I mean, Michael Corleone is willing to do all these things like as a mastermind, right. Whereas like Sidney Corleone is Tommy, is Jimmy. Like he's the hothead who will get his hands dirty.
Word.
And also he's maybe a mixture of Michael and Tom Hagen, Robert Duvall's character. Like where again he's the Irish, Italian, Irish, German guy who like is the outsider, but. And what's Tom is almost gonna like leave the family, and Michael's like, "Are you gonna go to Vegas and take that position in the casino with your wife and your mistress?" And just like, and that's why Tom's like, "Why do you hurt me, Michael? Like, I've been nothing but loyal to you." But then Henry snitches, which I mean, this casino is about like halfway about like you can't turn a hoe into a housewife with Sharon Stone's character. No, it's true. Like
not wrong, but.
Desperately wants to make this woman like his wife. All the signs are like
she's not ready for that life at all. She'll
never be ready for that life.
Right.
Whereas like in casinos, I guess like you're loyal until you can't be loyal no more.
That's why all them dudes snitch. That's why all gangsters like no. I don't know if anybody like Rayful Ed. Look, people told all over the place. You know what I mean? Alpo just got, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's at some and the funny thing is everything Henry always said, "Oh yeah, we don't get arrested." Yeah, you know what he say? You know who gets arrested? Nigger stick up men.
Oh,
you know
what? There are some rough line. Yeah,
they fall asleep in the getaway car or whatever.
Yo, the whole Stacks kill scene. Where he's like, you always keep all these hot books around. You know what I mean? Like it was a whole like you just a horny nigga, huh? Yeah, I'm gonna kill you, horny nigga.
Yeah.
Not just that. I mean, I remember vividly as a kid when the guy walks in the diner and they like look at this like jerk off and they steal his truck. And what's he going to the diner? I was like,
two niggers just stole my truck. Can you fucking believe it? And mind you, he literally big. He's what's up. What's up, Mom?
It was like, hey, yo, hey. When I heard that, I was like,
where's your phone at? Two niggers. They stole my fucking truck.
A question: why was Samuel L. Jackson so comfortable walking around in his room full of dudes in them little bitty drawers he had on?
Did he do that in real life?
Do what?
I don't know.
I don't know what he did.
He was a crackhead.
That's what I'm saying.
But I don't know.
What got to do with walking around with these drawers?
I don't know if he had on little tidy whities.
If you do crack, then nothing is off the table.
you're not. Everything's off the table because you sold it for
That's
crack.
What I'm saying.
I'm saying I don't know if that made him walk around in boxer. I mean, little tighty whitey.
Those wasn't even. I'd have been okay with boxers. You know what I mean? You got a little bit of leg covered.
Next time we're all in the same house, I'm walking down like that.
You know I can fight.
You better Yeah, you better fucking not. We'll stomp your ass out like they did bats.
Yo, Billy Bats, you can't kill a made guy, man. You can't.
Go get your fucking shine box.
Can't kill a made guy. That's oh man.
That's how they did it though.
Classic. It's a lesson, man.
Yeah, there are rules, and in a world that like has no rules, there are actually like rules. You can rob, steal, cheat. Again, what's he say? Like, you're not going to divorce her. Like when he clearly doesn't want to be with his wife anymore because he wants like Janice. Like
Janice was a major downgrade. She must have been good in other aspects because in the film,
it had to have been like
she looked like just like a nightmare. Like why even bother? Why play yourself?
I can't control who comes and sees me. I'm in jail.
Janice she's a whore. You have a whore living in 4R or whatever she was saying.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
But then again, is like Henry, is he like that worth it too? It's like, are men the prize in that scenario?
He definitely, his lifestyle, these women who always talk about, I want a nice guy.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
They go out and get the exciting guy.
After he beats the shit out of that guy with the gun, all my friends would have turned him in, but it turned me on. She's like, she's like, do that shit again. Like
that's the fuking collar. Look, fucking collar,
like, what you did to that guy now, do that to my Doonies.
Yeah, that's why like she's not worried. Like when he stays out all night, but when the mother is, when she's like,
like you beat Billy in the face.
Your father never went out like this. He never went anywhere. Like this man, he's not Jewish. Like that's
father didn't beat the Doonies down like this, mama. That's crazy. I'm trying to think.
What's your favorite moment? Goodfellas.
Goodfellas. I mean, of course, you get the scene that everybody mentions, and I'm sure you've talked about the clown, funny how.
Yeah.
But the first bar of the movie, the first bar of the movie. You know what I'm saying? I've always wanted to be a gang. Like that's hard, That's how you set tone, man. It's like the movie freezes for you right there. Mm-hmm. You're like, all right, this where we going. Right. And then it proceeds and it goes uphill, man, until the last couple of minutes, and it has this falling action. But other than that, man, that might be the best tone setting I've ever seen for a movie. It might be the best. It's probably my favorite use of narration.
In fact, we were talking about that earlier about how well of a job that was done with just with the narration of the story.
Like you said, like it sets the tone and it sets you up on like the best rise to power in a way. Like wow, like I like imagine living like this, and it has like the worst fall from grace. After this is what this life costs.
Really. Well, because it really you can't get that close. Like at a certain point, it's cool to rob the airport if you need money and you're getting X amount of dollars. But that Lufthansa shit and the way Jimmy was like, "Yo, we need to kind of cut everybody out."
Well, yeah, he's like the Joker. Like I killed the bus driver.
Yeah,
that guy killed that guy. That guy killed the guy before him. I'm killing all loose ends. Gotta be tight, especially.
But the Joker did it because he enjoyed it.
Yeah, Jimmy does too.
Jimmy the Gent because he was paranoid. He was like, you buying stuff?
Take it back.
Bring it back.
But I also think he
enjoys it. Nigga. Take it back to the store. Take it back right now.
But I also think he enjoys it too, because
shout out to the little Italian guy with the afro that ended up in the freezer.
Yeah, Frankie Carbo.
Yeah. Buddy, man, all he did was buy Shorty a coat, and it's still
Vito Corleone's best friend in Godfather Part 2.
He said 20 G's though.
Yeah. But no, Henry says he was doing hits at 16, so like Jimmy obviously has no problem killing someone if he was doing it at 16.
True.
So it's like him killing it out of paranoia. Definitely, it's paranoia because again, like once he goes into the side room and he gets Henry like, here's your cut. Like I'm fine with you having them, not these fucking idiots over here. Like
I was gonna, I was gonna say,
it's in my mother's name.
The sequence in the car is always phenomenal to me, but I think if I'm gonna say a favorite, it's probably the scene, like after the scenes where everybody was talking about the money and everything. When you start like when they play, if it's an alternate version of Layla, the Eric Clapton song. It's just all instrumental, and it's like they're opening up the trash can and the fucking bodies falling out the trash, the back of the truck. When my man's is hanging in the freezer, the body they sitting in the car and they all fucked up. Like and the music playing with the like that. When the first time I saw that shit, I was like, oh my god, they got
it's
it. It was like again. The music, the narration with the fucking just ultra. I could really go on all day about the violence.
There's that scene where he's out all night and he comes to the crib and Karen and her parents are waiting there and he just laughs.
That's what I feel like. He does like this performance when everyone else in the scene is like gets to act. Like the mom gets to yell when Brock gets to be like, but ma, and then he's just like,
where have you been?
Yeah, but first he just like legit like no. So I was like he shows up like
he's just sitting like
last. Have you guys ever? I don't need this shit. You've been in a position like that. I remember you telling us ever
had a time where you was out too late and the missus was.
You told this story on the pod, and I compared it to this scene when you were like, Henry. Fam, why are you out? Henry.
The guy, shout out to my brother, Ladrell. It's his birthday weekend now.
Oh, salute to him. Happy birthday.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? It's kind of why I was late here and blah, blah, blah. But, yeah. Yeah, man. You know what I mean? You got to come.
Memories.
Don't forget, it's like, you're not going out. He's like, when she throws the keys out the window, he's like, I'm still going to go out. Like, that's not going to fucking stop me.
Literally. Jesus. I also the shot of him pulling the fucking money out of his waistband when he's getting ready.
Yeah,
I guess he came home and just had look.
He has all these suit jackets and again these collared shirts and he's just
again you get old, you forget things. Rewatching it now after fucking Frank Carbone and all them get yelled at for buying all the shit, and he gives him that stack. He's like, just a little taste. He come in, got the most expensive tree in here.
Yeah,
but then he had about 5 rings and 3 bracelets on. She had 4 necklaces and and they were just sitting there. He handed her a stack of cash. He gave her these motherfuckers.
He says, "Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah" as he puts the money on top, and she laughs like like. And he's dripped out like he's Young Thug, like he's got everything on.
Yeah,
he looked like a Bruno Mars.
What y'all would have did with that bread?
The stack that Jimmy gave me. Fuck.
Diversify your bonds.
You know that that's supposed to end. That phrase is supposed to end with a certain word. There, David.
He better not say it.
No, I understand.
That goes straight to the booger sugar. That's what that stack goes to. Yeah.
That's your plan? You just gonna get high?
Wait, are you selling or are you just like I'm snorting it? See this brick? It's gonna be gone in about a week.
We finding out a lot about Davis today.
It's gonna be a white Christmas.
He was like, man, Mickey Mouse and all his friends came to my room and sang for 72 hours. God damn.
Yeah, and hour 24 is gonna be drip.
Eating on your ass, or yo, I'm eating on.
I'm sorry, that'll be drip.
Again, I love using this skiff whenever I see something that gets me hyped.
His eyes, he skied up. He skied all the way up. They did a very good job.
Again, dun. Like.
Look at this motherfucker. Look at him. Look at his skin. Look at
You ever had a day like that where like you were running around all day, and it felt like
I was skied up on cocaine, and the feds was watching.
Yes,
I'm on my third or fourth Red Bull.
I'm just.
I've had a couple of days. Yeah,
I've had holidays like that where it starts with a brunch. You come home, you change your clothes, pick up presents. Now you head to your father's family. Now you leave there. Now you got to go down the highway. Now you're going to your mom's family, and you got to have the same energy you had at the first place at the third place. So maybe on the holidays is the only thing I can really.
First 2 days in Dallas, day one, the arrival, and the second day.
I bet.
I was completely the opposite there.
Again, he's just going outside for like the third time. Like, you know, it's
after GCW when I took that nap and like had that ibuprofen, I was like, like I was revived, like
full heart meter.
Yeah,
went up.
That's how like ecstasy. Here we come, literally. Like,
I don't think I was excited at all in Dallas. Not like I wasn't having fun, but like,
right.
I don't think my blood pressure got high.
You weren't.
I was drunk and cooking the whole time. It was beautiful.
Well, yeah. He was on some uppers. You always on the downers.
That's the fan. Do you love the cooking scene in jail? Like when he had to fry everything.
I always like. All right, let me see how thin I can slice. This goddamn garlic to see if it'll actually liquefy. Like I need.
Have you actually tried it?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't
necessarily
liquefy, but you gotta, you know, what I mean, you roast the garlic, you roast the garlic, and then it'll just mush out. But that's, you know, what I mean,
how do you like your steak? Medium rare, an aristocrat.
Maybe at 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube, Fam cooks something live on the pod. That's it. Like it's legit. Just like Fam's going to be cooking chicken or whatever. I don't know. We got to figure out what we're doing for the 1,000.
We got to have at least like 3 different camera angles to cut to. Like,
that's a lot.
I'm putting tape over all the ladies.
Everything's got black tape on it. What's going on?
Hey man, the game is to be sold, not to be told, player. You know what I'm saying?
DJ in the
That's why we gotta cut. We gotta do it like a Tony Scott film, like.
This sounds more like a pre-production than a stream, though. Drip, was there anything else?
Full-size run, like it goes super zoom in on like Fam's hand as he's actually like sprinkling something on, and then we have animation.
You're talking about money right now.
Oh, believe me,
But no, Drip, was there anything else you wanted to get into about Ray Liotta or GoodFellas?
No, I mean this is. I think a performance now I'd have in my top 10 acting performances. It kind of already was getting there, but like if I had to make a list, I mean, how we did honorary Oscars a few weeks ago, and I had, like Al Pacino obviously is the one that like didn't get recognized, but obviously that's one of the great acting performances ever. But Ray Liotta in this movie, like I said, plays it all. Like he hits for the cycle. He's the 5-tool player. He gets the quadruple double. It's phenomenal, and that's why I think it was probably so hard to top something like this for the rest of his career. And I mean, it's the burden of not peaking too early, but I mean,
but think about it.
Not that he hadn't had somewhat of a career before. Like everyone was like he was good in Something Wild. I haven't seen that. But,
I've not seen Something Wild either. But that he got a Golden Globe nomination. That was his second film. GoodFellas would have only been like his 6th film, and he did a little bit of TV. But when you figure he had then been acting for the next 3+ decades, like. You can only have a career high performance like that ever so often. I don't want to say you wish it comes later so you can have like varied success, but thank God that he had that moment where he was able to be the man in the film and really showed up and showed out that one. Because again, fuck everything else. Like Ray Liotta as Henry Hill is just the iconic level of that character and that performance in that film. I mean, that's the test of time. That's, thousands of years from now studying film. At some point, you're going to have to get to Ray Liotta and them fucking eyes in GoodFellas and the work that he put in there. So, it's kind of rough that it was, fairly early, barely 10 years into him being a whole ass actor. But, shit, he got it. Most cats don't even get that.
Yeah.
You know, him and GoodFellas is almost to me like I don't know, Primo in that KRS-One record where it kind of worked out where everything was great. He had the best dance partner and he just made great music. You get to like joints like Copland and Smoking Aces where there were one or two other folks that were decent, but he killed his performance so much it upped the quality of the movie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which was like
good.
And that's like
Narc,
that's like Primo with
Narc
Group
once, but the Narc is like a dark film, and he plays again like the cop who again turns out like to be.
There's a couple there.
Smoking Aces again, like he's just like I've been working with the FBI all these years. Like he's the mentor FBI agent to Ryan Reynolds. Smoking Aces is a film I like, but yeah, I mean he would do these solid parts. He's in I said a Guy Ritchie earlier, but I haven't seen Revolver, which is the Guy Ritchie movies he's in.
It's a joint with Andre Ben. That's a weird flick.
Yeah.
It's a weird flick.
I haven't seen this.
Guy Ritchie, you gotta watch Guy Ritchie movies like 3-4 times.
It's a future white noise. I mentioned this earlier, but Guy Ritchie, yeah, it's phenomenal. But yeah, in Date Night, he kind of plays like a poly figure. Like he's this mobster in this Steve Carell, Tina Fey rom-com / like
that's kind of like
runaway movie.
That's kind of the vibe of his role in Something Wild, but I think it's a little more sinister. It's still like
you two are Sopranos fans, and I assumed you watched the Many Saints of Newark where he plays.
He was
again, another mobster figure. He's kind of like paying homage in a way, like again, that whole show is paying homage to Goodfellas and
no facts
on that. But like I was like, I gotta get Ray Liotta to play a role as a prominent figure in this film.
He's one of my favorite actors in that film. He gets to do cool stuff throughout it. Again, without spoiling anything for people who haven't watched Sopranos, to watch the film.
Hey, if you haven't watched Sopranos, like what are you doing?
Yeah, Drip, what are you doing?
What are you?
I'm rewatching Guy Ritchie films. Is when I'm doing.
At this point, like it's like you got to. There's certain television homework. You know what I mean? There's certain series you have to have seen. You know what I mean? The Wire, Breaking Bad, and this. You know what I mean? And then The Sopranos. Like you got to see those. That's it. Like you got to watch Montana play. You got to watch goddamn Brady throw the ball.
Facts. You can't say that you talk about or that you're really about this if you're not watching. If you've not watched The Sopranos and you love The Wire, you should watch Sopranos. If you've not watched GoodFellas and say you love The Sopranos, you need to watch, because again, they literally flow. Like you wouldn't have a Sopranos if you didn't have a GoodFellas, and arguably, I don't think HBO would have went to do a Wire if they wouldn't have had the success with shows like The Sopranos. So I mean, it's all cyclical, and you're playing just because again, there's a lot of bullshit TV out there, a lot of bullshit movies out there. Trust me, you good.
Hey, Top Gun Maverick is not bullshit. Don't you say?
I hear it's good. I have no desire. I'm not the biggest Top Gun.
What's bullshit is that Elvis movie. Oh God.
I have no desire to watch the Elvis movie.
Motherfucking and John Wayne.
Facts. Like who I had a PR rep a couple months ago asking me about the Elvis movie because she, they kind of try to test the water to see are you into it. I'm kind of like, nah. It's like no. I figured that. But hey, it's fucking Elvis.
Well, hang on. GoodFellas is available to stream on HBO Max for those that haven't seen it and who are watching this.
Is it?
How are you watching it? Do you own it or do you have a?
Mind your business.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just hey.
Like I said, if I could throw a movie theater, the amount of movies you show and not have no repeats, we'd be good to go. You can just pay for a ticket. You come any day you want. You can see all types of wild shit.
Cal got movies like Terry got matches.
Facts, facts. Yeah.
Look at all these movies. I got movies over here. I got movies over here.
Actually, I may have some movies back here. I don't know what's on. Never mind. I don't know what's in those back. I may get some movies back. Anyway.
Shout out to that special folder on y'all hard drives.
Hey, but fam, where can people find you on social media?
Shout out to my man. At IlFam79 on your social media choice. At Where's Buffy. At Something Else Pod.
Coming soon-ish.
Soon. Very soon. Trust.
See y'all in a second.
Something else very soon. Patreon.com/Black Rasslin.
And Cal, what about you?
At Cal on Twitter, at Black Rasslin on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. BlackRasslin.com, YouTube.com/Black Rasslin, Patreon.com/Black Rasslin. Pay the $1, pay the $10. You get dope episodes of shows like White Noise, Something Else, Coffee and Kicks, all the stuff we're doing over there, and more. But you can only see them first on the Patreon. Drip.
You can follow me on Twitter at Davis, aka Drip. Davis DC on Instagram. Banks versus Davis on YouTube. But like Hal said, if you're watching this on the Patreon, recommend pay the $1, pay the $10 for the wrestling fan in your life. The $10, you get the perks. Those hats coming soon, and who knows what else.
Yeah, about
like Kyle said, we got Coffee and Kicks, Black Rasslin Podcast Club, special interviews like the Willow Nightingale, Rodney Mack ones that dropped on the Patreon first, and then our YouTube a few days later.
Black Watch over there as well. Shouts out to
Downtown Tony Brown.
Shout out to my man downtown, man.
There's a lot going on. It's actually.
Have y'all seen the three of us again? What do we call this trio? Are we the Oreo line or?
No.
Have y'all seen the Mighty Ducks?
No. What's a wrestling trio that has two black guys and a white guy?
It was when Kevin Owens was with the New Day.
Did they have a name? Did they give themselves like a?
This is OG Nation, yo. You the Nugget.
He is PG-13.
Hey yo,
that's funny. All right, we out of here. White Noise. We'll catch y'all very soon. Peace.